wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop coming.
Hey, welcome everybody. Appreciate that you guys are here hanging out with me. I'm going to be doing some artwork, drawing away. Let me move my microphone. Make sure I got the mic check. 1 2 1 2. All right. So you can see I'm already started drawing, working on some art for the cover to Dragonrage issue number 2. So it's going to be the second one right here. So I'm starting, I just kind of shaded in real fast. I'm working on this on the face in the background. It's going to be the, if you got book 1, or if some of you guys haven't gotten book 1 yet, it is, it's a character that's in the book who's I guess I could say she's the queen. Once you read it, you'll see she's, refers to herself as a queen, but you'll find out throughout the series if that's true or not, or what kind of queen she is. So I'm not going to be on too long, so I wanted to just start working, drawing. And Sean Allen says, I hear you loud and clear, Jimmy. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, hey, can people understand my accent? So alrighty, so I started to shade in real fast. These kind of like star kind of shapes, kind of things, just so that I can save time. And what I want is I want a light source, a blast coming from his hand. He's got this magic that he's doing. And I just wanted to fill in the shadow. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh, it isn't quite in perspective. I need it to all point back to the center point, to a vanishing point in his hand, even though it's just like this energy blast stuff. So I'm going to do these little shape things in here. Very, very Mark Silvestri-esque. That's where I got them from. All these little energies and shape things that he does. It's a little hard to do with this pencil, but I'll make it work. You know what? I think I might have another pencil that might work. Oh, what's this? It says mechanical pencil. What does that look like? Oh, that's not too bad of a pencil. What size am I using? 8 pixels. I'm going to change to 10 pixels. Let's see what it looks like. Boy, it's a really light. Boy, it's real light. Nah. What's this one? That's kind of neat. I found some new pencils online. So trying them out. I like when stuff's free, I found some stuff free on InClip Studio Paint. I think there's a tool to use that'll make this burst in my rulers. Maybe it's under special ruler. Let's see. Is there a radio line? What does a radio line do? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Wow. I wonder how you use it. It's interesting. All right, let's try it. Oh yeah, look at that. It kind of makes it snap too. This is where all the lines should be. Kind of blasting that direction. My perspective was off. Yeah, look at that. Man, my perspective was off big time. It's a good thing you use rulers, Don't be ashamed, Be too proud to use a ruler. Let me erase some of these other. Look at these lines over here. Man, I was way off on perspective on that. Jesus. Sometimes I can eyeball it, Other times, like this, man, was I off, dude. All right. Got to redraw a lot of that. Man, it's embarrassing. On live TV, and I'm off. We just pretend, I eyeballed it and you guys are amazed. Like, how did he do it? He just eyeballed it. I don't want them to really be speed lines. I kind of want to make interesting kind of energy shapes. So I'm with the ruler, and with the ruler, they're gonna come out really clean and neat. So I'm about to. Why did you bail on the Kangs, Jimmy? Bail on the Kings? I'm fulfilling my book right now, so I haven't been doing much of anything else. It's important to me to get the book out to backers. I really want backers to have their book. So if you guys haven't seen me streaming much, it's because I'm fulfilling. That's my priority, is to get the book right now into backers' hands. It's my it's my obligation right now. I got to do that. That's what's important. And at the same time, trying to get book 2, working on that too. The writer, Dave Philpott, he's written the script. I mean, he's working on the script. He plotted it out, and he's really, really good. He's got an amazing story, and I can't wait to get the book in hands. Plus, if you guys don't know, I had some medical. If you guys, I'm sure if you watch, you already know I'm a heart failure patient. So I had to really just take some time off from social media. I was getting trolled. I was getting a lot of crazy trolls and messages and all this crazy stuff. And I had to. My doctor wanted me to really lower my stress, because that affects your health and your heart, and the symptoms and things that I was feeling. So I took some time off social media. I've lightened it up. I'm still taking time off of social media. I got an idea. I'm gonna do all these lines in here, like this picture I saw of Jesus. I saw this picture of Jesus where it's an illustration. It was in a Bible, in a classic illustrated Bible. And you know what? I can show you guys that drawing of Jesus. It's fantastic. So I have that idea, and then I'm going to erase these shapes into it. something even more. But yeah, so I've tried to lower down stress. And the crazy thing too about, for me, what's really relaxing to me that helps me lower my stress, believe it or not, inking, traditional inking. I love it. I love the traditional ink, and it really helps relieve stress for me. So I'm going to be doing more of that. That's something that really, really helps. Where did I find this Jesus drawing? Anytime I find black and white illustrations, oh man, I love black and white illustrations. So anytime I can get my hands on some black and white stuff, I always do. Here we go. Here's this illustration that I think this is where, like with the mage lifting his hand up to, to do like a magic kind of thing. I like this. You can see the illustrator put in all these lines coming in to draw your eye, right? They're all drawing your eye in to the main focus, which is Jesus, right? Jesus Christ. So all of the curves are going that way, but then he has God rays. He erased these God rays coming through it, piercing through it, which was a great technique, take the eraser and just add these God rays into it. So you do it in two different stages, and it's an amazing illustration. I think, and I love the fabric moving, the movement in the fabric. These are the type of illustrations that aren't generally really comic book, because they the anatomy isn't exaggerated or anything like that, but it still has this great fantasy feel to it, because no one other than Jesus can float up in the air like this, and it's like he's up in the clouds, he's floating, movement in the fabric. There's a great light source up above, great, shadows down below. And it's just, it's an amazing illustration. And anytime I can find this kind of stuff, I think it's great. I love the gradation. If you pay close attention, what really makes the effect of this very angelic, just powerful God ray coming down, right? Is that it's very, very washed out. Like it's almost like a vignette, where the very top, there's very little lines up there. It's a lot of white. And then as you get to the base of the drawing near the clouds, there's a lot more shadow in the clouds. So it really adds that effect, and this is something that I love to do. Is I love to dissect and look at and analyze another illustrator's work that I admire. I go, what makes this work? Why is this so dynamic? And I want to do something like that with the ray, where all these rays are coming through with the mage. He's got his hand up, and then I'm gonna cut through these lines instead of God rays, because this rays himself that he's doing magic are kind of coming that way like a God ray. And a God ray is when the light kind of floats through your window and the sun's at its highest point, or when or even at golden hour when the sun's at its lowest point, and you get that ray of light that comes through your window, and you can see the little dust particles in your house. It's when you realize how dirty your house is, when God's calling you. He's got his flashing the light on you. He's like, time to sweep your floors, because he shows you the dirt in your floors. You're like, God, I know, God. Thanks for reminding me. Called God rays. So yeah, all right. So thanks. I appreciate that you guys were popping in. I'm gonna do some more of this artwork here. We'll be working on that. I drew this face, and then I'm working on those God rays right now. Sean Allen, oh, that is nice. Yeah, you're probably talking about the one I showed of Jesus. That's Jesus performing his fighting game Ultra Combo. Yeah. That's Jesus. Ultra Combo. And Stealth X5 donated $2 from Stealth. It says hello. Man, I appreciate that, Stealth. Thank you so much. Support like that, really helps. I can do things with the channel, and that helps me be able to bring you guys more. I can do more things. Like I can get, keep up with good camera equipment, good audio, stuff like that. Every little bit counts. I don't get much from YouTube. I mean, it's really not much, but whatever I do get from YouTube, I always try to put it right back in and try to, get you guys a good quality image. Plus, it costs money to stream with the service that I use because of the quality. I wonder if I go thicker on the pencil. Let me see. If I go a bigger pencil, no, that's too big. Wow. Yeah, there we go. Because when I was thinking about inking this traditionally. And so if I ink it traditionally, I can't ink these lines this fine unless I use, well, I could, but I have to use a really fine pen. Man, boy, this is tedious, just drawing these lines. I don't want my lines, generally, I don't want my lines too close together in these type of kind of speed line effect thing. But what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to cut an effect into it. So if I keep them close together, when I cut in this white effect, it will really it'll really help enhance the effect. Richard Brinkley says, Jesus is condemning that building for not having a roof. And that looks like an angel. And yeah, oh, the face that I have up in my background, I don't know if that's what you're referring to, that one, or if with Jesus kind of looking like an angel. But the face that I've got in mine, this is the cover. So in the background, there's going to be in book 1, we're introduced to a character called Celadon. So for those of you that have already gotten your books, you know the character I'm talking about. And then for those of you that haven't gotten your book yet, it's in the mail. No, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. But this character, her name is Celadon, and she claims to be the queen of dragons. She claims to have birthed the dragons. And so I got to keep moving while I'm talking. And we're introduced to her. She's a kind of like witch-like character, and very interesting character. And so we'll see her up here with the king of dragons. The king of dragons, he's got these big horns, like a crown up on his head. And he's huge. He's really a big dragon. But so we kind of got him on the cover on here where we're introduced to different characters. This is one of the main characters. Her name is Nuri. She's an orphan. She has no idea about her past, any of that kind of stuff. And you got her little companion. It's a fennec fox. And the fennec fox, believe it or not, plays a big role in Dragonrage. It's crazy. Here's a mage. He's from a powerful lineage of mages that are legendary, but he's not. He's really more of he's just kind of a misfit, and yet he's an embarrassment to that lineage, and he's had to grow up on his own, and really nobody to teach him how to, to hone his skill. And it's kind of like me. It would be, I guess, if there was any self-insertion in the comic book, this mage would be me, because I grew up with this ability to draw and nobody around to help me refine it. I used to buy pencils at a grocery store. I'd buy the yellow number 2 pencil, which is actually an HB. And so that was just dumb luck that I ended up with a good pencil, an HB lead. That's right in the middle between soft and hard. It's just, sits right there in the middle. It's not a bad start. And I would draw with whatever scraps of paper, whatever I found. I had no idea about art. I was about 18 years old when I started drawing. So I'd go to the library I'd go down to the local library and just grab books. And I didn't know any other comic artists at the time. And so I had no idea. I just knew I could draw, and somehow I could just do the stuff that I saw in the comic book pages. I could just mimic. Is all I was doing. I was just mimicking the things that I saw Jim Lee and all these other people do. And I had no idea why they were doing it. I just copied it. And it wasn't until I broke in. Once I broke in, I was able to meet other artists. And those guys, really started helping me out a lot. First thing they did was they said, stop drawing on paper. Here's artboard, Bristol board. I had no idea comics were done on Bristol board. I just, whatever I could draw on, whatever I found. I was poor. When I say poor, I was very poor. And so I drew on whatever I got my hands on. So I'm a big believer that it's not the supplies and the tool. They help a little bit. You want to have good tools and the right tool, but it's really it's the artist that will make the tools. So, don't worry so much about the supplies that you're drawing. Focus more on the drawing itself, what you're drawing, be aware of what you're drawing. Try to understand form and shape and become aware of that perspective. Learn those things. Don't worry about the shading and rendering. That'll come. I used to do a lot of rendering and I didn't know why, any of it was done. I just knew that that's what comic book people were doing. And now I'm starting to really focus more on the rendering. After 30 years of, working, in art, I'm just now really starting to understand the rendering. And I can shade and render like this, but it takes time. So if you learn form and shape before rendering, that's the key. So you learn the form and the shape, and then when you start to render and learn the light source, light and shadow, it'll start to make sense, and it's really easy. It's really easy to put in all these textures and stuff like this. It's not hard. What took me longer was to learn how to really structure a face. So this year, I've really been focusing on faces. So if you look at all the faces that I'm drawing, today compared to the book I drew in 2020, hopefully you'll see a difference. I believe you'll see a big difference, and that's, me feeling hopeful, but I feel like I've improved a lot. I think faces are really, really important. Man, this is a lot of just like rendering. I'm sorry this part's a little boring here, but you guys are watching me work live. So this is for actual publications for my book. So as I transition down towards the bottom, the rays aren't quite as strong. So it's going to be less lines right here. I just kind of start to break some of the lines. And we'll just put little breaks in the line there. It's a little vignette going off into light. The light is not as bright down here at the bottom. But it's a direct light source. So there's going to be a lot of shadow on the mage, on the figure here. And we got more characters on here. I'll show you guys. I'm going to just shade through this staff. It's faster. I can erase it. If I was traditional, I'd draw around it, but so what I can do is let me get rid of that ruler, and I just take an eraser right here. There. All right. So now down below we have this guy's kind of like my Wolverine character. He's kind of he doesn't really he has claws, you know, a bit of claws because dragons have claws, but he's not a claw character like Wolverine. He's more of a Conan barbarian type. But he's not savage. He's not really a barbarian, but he's more that style. His name is Thrago, and we get introduced to him in book 1. So you'll see him. He's got dragon-like features. He's got these dragon scales on his arms. He's very he's a pretty strong guy. You'll see in book 1 he wrestles a very large animal in book 1, a la kind of a Heracles and the what's the name of the lion? The lion with the impenetrable hide. I forget the name of that lion, but it's kind of that kind of thing happens with him, and he fights a creature. All right, so I mentioned I was going to put this, like, I want to do this really cool effect where I put all this ray of light in there, and the lines are really fine and really close together, where normally I wouldn't do that because it's very hard to recreate that. Traditionally, you most likely have to use a really fine multi-liner or a Koh-i-Noor technical pen that's really fine to recreate that line, and that's not really the look I'm going for. So I want to create something in here where normally I would take a if you're traditional, you take a rule, an eraser. But I want to I'm going to take this lasso fill tool and just I want to start cutting this, like these kind of just fun shapes. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that I can see the shapes. I want to cut into them like that, but I want to make sure that they kind of go more round, you know? So I'm going to start playing with these here. And then when I ink it, oh boy, it's going to be fun inking these shapes. Boy, it's easier to pencil it, you know, because you can just, zip through it. But when you're inking, and as an inker, you got to slow down. You got to ink slower. But I did mention earlier, if you guys are wondering, I have been really busy fulfilling Dragonrage. You know, that's my obligation. That's my priority right now, is getting those books to you. So if you haven't received yours yet, keep an eye out in your email, because you will get a tracking number and be notified by email when yours is packaged and ready. And once you get the email, if it's a weekday, then your package will go out the next day. All right, so I'm going to take a quill and I'm going to cut in some shapes in here. So I'm going to take my crow quill with like white, you know, basically. And then just kind of start cutting some shapes. I'm not going to worry too much about the shapes because they'll change a little bit when I ink it. Because when I ink, it's when I really start playing with all these shapes. So I cut in large shapes real fast with that lasso fill tool in Clip Studio Paint. And I take the quill and I put in just a little more finer line work like this. And this is so I can just create this kind of energy blast and make it look really cool. So where the light source is the strongest, it's where there's the most white. So that's where the cuts come in more. They're closer together. There's more white. So you kind of want to keep in mind, where the light is the brightest, and then you make that the whitest. There's more white there. And then once I ink it, I'm gonna add these white particles that'll kind of just like splatter, kind of, not really splatter. They're particles, and they're like droplets. So I'm just putting a little bit in there to remind myself. And I got to open reference for myself. It's my own character, and I drew the book last year. It's been a while now since I finished the book and looked at it. So where is my she wears this headpiece on her head, and I'm trying to remember what she looks like. Let me find it. Where is it? Man, I don't even remember where I put the Dragonrage. Where is Dragonrage? Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. I had a brain fart. It happens. I'm turning 50. I'm turning 50 in just a few weeks. So I'm going to be old. All right, here we go. Here is this is, you can see that these are all the pages from issue number 1. Don't look. Don't want to get. You don't want to be. Spoilers. They're all lettered and everything too. Let's see. Where is the one where I show her with her headpiece? So she's kind of got this headpiece right here. This is her. So they're talking to her. This is book 1. You can see where. You see, this is all the level of detail in issue number 1. So my goal for me is that I want book 2, part 2, to just knock part 1 out of the water. Like, I want to do way better than I did. Book 1 is where I really started concentrating on faces and everything. But I want to concentrate on my rendering and just, really just do so much better. All right. So she's, I forgot. Yeah. She's got 2 sets of horns on her. So let's go to that. So that's the character. This girl right here. This is the one that I'm drawing up in the background, and I want her face in a lot of shadow. I want her to blend into black. So that's gonna be her right there. Cool. Let's see what you guys are saying. Richard Brinkley says, thanks for sharing this with us, Jimmy. And yeah, I want to, what I did was the first time around, if you guys look through my video library, I drew issue number 1 live, most of it. You guys were able to watch me page by page. But I drew, I didn't show everything in order. I kind of skipped around, and you guys got to watch me as I worked and got to see the progress of the book. So those that backed the book could see where, their contribution was going, and know that, because you don't know the kind of work ethic of the person that you are, supporting, backing, right? I wanted people to know that. I pride myself on a good work ethic, and, the book's important to me, and every project's important to me. So I always want to make sure I meet deadlines and just, getting stuff done. And so I live streamed a lot of it, and I thought, I should continue that with book 2. Mighty Geek says the world of 50 plus. Man, I'm starting to get letters now. Now that I'm about to turn 50, all kinds of like medical insurance and stuff now, where they're like, you getting old. We know you're gonna need us. You're gonna need some medical. And I was like, haha. What y'all don't know is I've been medical issues since I was young. So haha, I'm no stranger to it. I'm already familiar, not falling for your cheap insurance. I already know insurance. I know your tricks. Oh wait. So I'm gonna put a little like cross X right here in the middle of the diamond shape thing. So this will help me keep it in perspective with her face, with the way her head's tilted, so that it matches. And I remember she had like this kind of she has this kind of shape. And I didn't give her, so this is the one thing you guys are watching right now, but don't tell everybody, maybe they won't even notice. Is that in the book, I didn't give her these reptilian eyes. And I thought right now that giving her these reptilian eyes would be a really cool idea, and I just thought, man, I'm going to do that. And I just added that. I kind of changed it up. Cairo Hasbro 69 would love some page layout templates like these. Can't really find any. Oh, page template? You mean for Clip Studio Paint? Here, go to, you can go here. Either you can go to jimmyreyesart.com and you can get them. I have them for free. So you can go to jimmyreyesart.com, click on brushes. You don't even have to do that if you want to go that way. But here where it says brushes to make life easier, I have on my Gumroad, I have, if you go there, just click on it on my brushes. You go to free gift. So for free, you click on that. And for free, I give you templates to work on. You get if you want to work at 300 DPI, 11 by 17, you can. But there's really no need to work that way. I know there's some people that will feel more comfortable working that way when you transition to digital. But when you're digital, you want to work at twice the resolution of the output resolution and work at 100% of the comic book page size. So my template that I'm working on right now is specific to my printer, the printer that I'm using. They have measurements that they have crop marks, full bleed, crop marks, safe image area. So I took their measurements and I made my own template specifically for my printer. So whenever I'm drawing, I know that I'm in what's going to get cropped and what's so I don't waste my time, But these in here that I've made that are absolutely free, you can simply just use these. They're the exact size of a comic book, and they'll get you in the right general area. You most likely, if you draw it this size, and when you go to lay out your book to get printed, you won't run into any issues. You shouldn't have to size it for very, very much. Oh, and MD Dangerously already put the link. Man, he's fast. I was going to cut and paste the link, and he's so great, man. He's fast. Thank you, MD. I appreciate that, man. And I think I got the direct link as well if you want to go straight to the gifts. But if not, the link that MD gave you, you go there and then you'll be able to see all the free stuff with that. There's free stuff and then there's stuff to buy as well, but you don't have to buy, the templates and all that stuff. So, that'll be a way to get you guys started. You could do that. All right. And still Trooper Julian Caesar says, "Hey, old Jimmy." So, man, appreciate you you stopping by. MD Dangerously says that gal on the left reminds me of Jose Gonzalez's Vampirilla stuff. That's awesome. Wow, dude, that is amazing. Because Jose Gonzalez, Pepe Gonzalez, is huge influence. I loved Pepe Gonzalez, Vampirilla stuff. I don't have every one of them, but I have a lot of them, a few that I would want more, really. And I have a lot of Rudy Nebras as well. Um, so those guys are big, big influences for me. You know, let me keep drawing, man. I got to keep this pencil moving. So I got to figure out like exactly how I want that shadow. I drew this line on her forehead right now to kind of just suggest where I want to go with that shadow, like right there. You know, that's kind of where I want to go with that shadow. I think when I render, I think I'm going to make all my lines follow that kind of shape there. So I'm going to kind of just arch it just a little bit. And I think I'm going to tilt the lines once let me draw that line back again. So this is the line that's cast from, you know, this object is going to be 3 dimensions, and it's going to, I mean, it's going to be beveled a little bit on the side, so it's going to cast a shadow. So I kind of want the line to curve with her forehead like that. I'm going to lighten it up a little bit just so I can slightly see it. I can see it slightly, and then I'm going to start bringing in my shadows. Yeah, Pepe Gonzalez would put a lot of shadow shading under the eyes, and then the way he would kind of draw a little more individual lashes, where comic book artists, we just kind of simplify it as one big kind of chunk, and he would kind of put in a few eyelashes in there to kind of break it up a little bit. And that's what I did here. That's probably where what it reminds you of Jose Gonzalez there. So I put these lines right here. When I ink them, I'm gonna it's not gonna be a hard shadow. It's gonna blend. You know, it's gonna kind of blend. A lot of cool things I can do with the quill, especially traditionally. A lot of stuff I can do with the quill that I can't do. All right, let me think here. What else do I need to do? Oh yeah, I need to put in her. She's got this kind of ram. And so I'm playing with this, her shape of her horn on her headpiece that she wears. So if she's the queen of dragons, she would have been, you know, if it's true when she's claiming to be the queen of dragons, then she would have been at one time an actual dragon who's now finds herself in the body of a human. Or maybe she's possessed the body of this human. All right, now I got to figure out what kind of shadows. Let's see, does that work? I'm going to zoom out again. I think I need more shadow. So I'm going to draw in real quick these lines like this. Kind of like that. And then what I do after that is then I'll start playing with the shapes of it. And then, so there's light, and like right underneath. So I need to put some shadows on this side. These images, they're not really in relation to each other. It's kind of a collage, kind of like something that you would see a Drew Struzan movie poster. But I still want it to be to kind of look and relate like they're still in the same universe, you know. And then on the inside over here, let's see what kind of texture I can put. Let me zoom out again and give you guys a new perspective. It helps me too, you know. So what I want to do for Dragonrage is I want to put the Dragonrage logo down here, you know, and maybe even my company logo there or something. It's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to put the logo down below. Or maybe I'll even make Dragonrage go like this behind his hand, make his hand go over Dragonrage, the logo. I'll play with that. That'd be kind of interesting design. So I need something up here. I mean, I could either go in all shadow behind him, or tell me what you guys think, is I could go like hard shadow and then continue that light, like blend out of it behind him, you know, so that way he's kind of illuminated, that little he's, you know, it's a small dragon on there, but and I could blend the rest of the shadow, or we could make it night behind him. So it can be all black behind him and I'll splatter in some stars. This way, my composition, you know, kind of darker on that side and stay light on the other side, you know. And I'm marking directly over the art. And if you were watching my last stream, I marked so much on there I couldn't undo it. And I lost all the rendering, which is okay because now, you know, I was able to work, like, you know, redo a lot of this stuff. So what do you guys think? I'm thinking night sky behind. I think I'll drop that in, see how that looks. Comics Legend says, hi, Jimmy. If you wanted the black and white edition, is that being shipped automatically, or do we have to email requesting the black and white edition of Dragonrage? I would like the black and white version. Yeah, the black and white version is now being automatically sent out. I went with majority rule. Originally, I had sent out a newsletter through my Jim Reyes art, asking people if they wanted, if they didn't mind if we went black and white, or I was going to go black and white. And the majority of the people that responded were saying, yes, I want black and white. And not everybody responded, but the ones that did wanted black and white. So I made the artistic choice, you to go ahead and go black and white. I wanted to do black and white. And then I was mentioning black and white over and over on my live streams. The book's black and white, the book's black and white. But no matter how much I mentioned, it just couldn't get the word out. So there were still some people that didn't know we're going black and white. So I'm doing it again. Again, I asked this time I asked on the campaign page, if you want black and white, let me know. And majority of people want black and white. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just fulfill, because I was going to hold the books. And now it's, and I'm glad I did, because honestly, it was about a handful that didn't want, that weren't too happy about black and white. But, when you make an omelet, right, you're going to crack some eggs. And unfortunately, I knew that I'm going to lose some people. And it's really, I hate to lose even one backer, to upset one backer. But honestly, it's less than a handful that were upset, about it. And I think I'll win them. I think I'll win them over. I think once they get the book in black and white, they can really, really appreciate it. But to answer your question, yeah, it's automatic. So I'm automatically sending it out. Long-winded answer. And that's why I decided to just automatically start sending the black and whites, get them out to you guys. You guys, I didn't want to make 98 people wait that wanted a black and white book to wait a year, for me to try to figure out how to get the books reprinted if I can, and try to find the right colorist and all that for, 2% of the people that didn't want black and white. But I found a solution for some of those people. So if you're one of those that was vocal and said, you said, F you, Jimmy, in your black and white book. I found a sort of a workaround that I think you'll be happy with. If for those that I was aware of, that those that were the vocal minority, when you get your book fulfilled, which I've already sent those out, you might already have it and probably know what I'm talking about. But I did something a little nice, I think, a nice gesture, for those. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it for everybody, so I didn't really, I didn't make it public or anything. So I'm thinking about putting this like this behind here, and then I'm going to put in some stars in the background. Oh, you know what? But let me see if I can do maybe like a little moon behind him. I am, I do care about every backer, and I feel pretty confident. Most backers are going to come back. Most backers, I think, when they see the level of detail and hard work and determination to get that book to people, of what I went through, not even heart failure stopped that book. I had some detractors, people trying to stop the success of the book. And I went through heart failure. Not even heart failure stopped me from getting that book to you. You guys are getting your book, And I made a compromise. I had to make a compromise we lost color. But losing color freed up a little bit of cash where I was able to increase the page count. So I was able to give you more story. There were things in the story that Dave Philpott and myself we're going, oh man, it's a 40-page story. And we go, oh no, I don't know if everything's clear, And so I said, I don't know if everything's, really clear. So we went back and he wrote some pages and I drew in extra pages to help fill in the story. So the story wasn't choppy on some areas. We want to fix it. And we were able to do that because of the fact that we lost color, so there was some silver lining, in there. I know that when people get the book, they're going to see, um, it's hard to describe right now. I don't want to spoil the story, but yeah, there's extra stuff in there, extra story stuff that wasn't there before. And, made some lemonade, I'm going to draw the moon behind him and we'll cover up these, we'll cover up the stars because there's no stars in front of the moon. Where's my pencil? We'll cover these up right here. Why isn't it, man? Why am I not able to cover up these stars? Oh, well, I'll cut into those. Comics Legend says, will you have any extras available to purchase for the black and white? Do you have a website to buy extras? Well, I wasn't going to sell any of them on my website. I wanted to make it, I don't want backers to have to compete with me on the secondary market. I want, if backers decide they want to sell their copies, I want them to be the only one who have the book. And that's, usually, I would be able to make my money because the book would be paid for and I would make my money. So it's not a good decision for me to do that business wise, but I'm willing to do that for the backers. I want them to have, be the only ones with the book. And, but when I started to tell people that I was going black and white, so there were some that did get the newsletter that I back. There was about one or two only that said they wanted a refund. This was earlier on in the campaign when when I had made the announcement that I was going black and white. I mean, I did make that announcement a long time ago, but there were a lot of, people just assumed I didn't make anybody aware. And I did. And I have the receipts, I have the newsletters and you can still see in the campaign. If you scroll through my campaign, you'll see my updates. I even talk about the pen and ink edition long before any of this. But the one thing you do is you never argue with your backers, if people are saying, well, I didn't get it. I didn't, you don't want to go, no, it's your fault because you guys don't check your emails, check your spam folder. You don't do that. Your backers are very, very important, man. You never call out your backers, right? That's what I believe. And so I took, the responsibility. The responsibility is mine. The blame is mine. I said, okay, I apologize, that you guys, weren't made aware. And so I really don't have any extra copies, but I have two for sure. Cause there were people there were only two people that asked for a refund back then. Other than that, nobody else. Everybody else has been really excited about it. Excited about the book, really be honest. And now there's more interest. So if you want that one, there's two copies that are left over. I forget what covers they are. One of them is one of them I think was the Finch Fire cover. I remember that guy. I said, you sure you want to give up the Finch Fire cover? Cause I'm not reprinting that. You're losing an exclusive there. And I remember that one person was back then was pretty adamant on, just refund or whatever. And then the second guy, I don't remember what cover, or he or she, I don't remember what cover they had. But I have those. So if you do want those, let me know. You can email me at Jimmy Reyes Art, or if you're a backer and you want an extra copy, um, you can go ahead and just message me through the campaign, because the book is picking up interest right now. People are starting to see it, seeing that I'm delivering. People are getting a preview of the book. You can see that. I mean, the work's going to get better in book 2. It's getting even better. So the interest is rising. I'm getting a lot of I got a lot of great DMs and good reviews and positive email. A lot of people are really liking it. So the book is going to be even bigger and better. So a lot more people are really wanting the they want the book now, And I know a lot of the backers now that are getting their book aren't willing to let theirs go. I know that they're holding on to them because the book's picking up popularity. So, but yeah, if you're looking for that extra copy, it's a good move. I would say, yeah, I can see that you can tell when it's like, hey, give me an extra copy now, because that book's I got a feeling that book's going to be in demand and people are going to really want it. So dropped in a moon real quick behind him, just by using an eraser, just did that. Stealth says, X5 says, are you still launching a colored version? And thank you for the $2 Stealth. I really do appreciate that. So what I want to do is I want to move on to book 2. I want to keep my book in black and white because I was thinking, I don't want to upset any of the previous backers. But another thing that I can do is I can make the decision up to you backers on whether the book goes color. So I'm going to launch the book with the original campaign will be that the book will be a black and white book, color cover, black and white book with a stretch goal that if we can get to a certain amount of funds raised, then I can put both books in color. I'm going to have book 2 available in the campaign and then book 1 with a variant cover. So you can still get book 1, but you won't be able to get any of the covers from the first campaign in the pen and ink. Those will be exclusive. Those I'm not going to reprint anymore. But this will be a new cover, and you can get that, we'll get book 1 with this new variant cover. And I'm gonna leave it up to backers on whether or not if they backers really want the book, book 1 and book 2 to become in color. I'll make it a stretch goal. So if you guys get us to that stretch goal, that means I still have to raise enough funds, because book 1 is 44 pages. So 44 pages, having it colored by a professional colorist, would be roughly about $4,000 to pay a colorist, not including printing costs and all that. That's just what I would have to pay a colorist. Then I would have book 2, which I want to do book 2 at about 22 pages because I can pencil a 22-page book in about 45 days. That's me not even working on it full time. That's me still fulfilling the campaign and, inking traditionally. And I'm pretty fast as a penciler, as you guys can see. I mean, I'm, pretty quick. So I want to do like a 22-pager. So that would be about $2,200 to $2,500 to have that colored. So, we're looking at, roughly about, maybe $6,500. So, that's still quite a bit of funds, that have to be raised. So, I'm thinking about doing that, leaving it up to you guys, the backers. Because the book itself and the story is amazing. People are really digging the story. If you guys follow me on Twitter, go on Twitter and just take a look at what other backers that have already received their copies. Just kind of take a look at what they're saying. They really dig the story. It's a book that was really well thought out, and a story that is written very well. Dave Philpott did an amazing job. I'm very, very proud and happy to have him on board. He really, to be honest, without Dave, it would just be a pretty picture book. Dave Philpott is really the guy that brought a story to my my pretty artwork, and otherwise, I mean, it would just be images. And I'm not at all trying to take any shot at any other creator-owned books out there, but I've backed quite a bit of books, and I got to be honest, most of the time, books that I've backed have been lacking in story. They'll have good art, but story-wise, I go, well, it could be better. Or sometimes I just go, wow, there was no story at all, and I hate to say that. I don't like to criticize anybody, and I'm not taking a shot at anybody in particular. I'm just, just some of the books I've backed, I wasn't too happy with the story. So, and a little bit could be biased because this is my own characters, but to be honest, and that's how I feel. I feel, I'm very, very proud of the work Dave Philpott did. But what really comes in and validates that has been the backers. You guys. You guys are the ones that have been offering up praise to the work that Dave did in Dragonrage, Dave Philpott, and that's the biggest compliment, And somebody else asked if I was having, let's see, what was it? There were a couple more questions. Art by AK. I got a question. How many hours approximately you spending on one page? All the best. For me, I'm for this being my creator-owned book, and I want it to really just stand out. I'm spending as many hours as the page requires. So roughly, if I could put it into a number, I would spend about 3 days on a page, on average. Sometimes that's just me penciling, and other times that's pencil and inking. Just depends on the page. I don't want to rush pages. I've even gone back and redrawn pages because I want it to be the best out there. And so if I have to, I will redraw a page to make sure that my backers are getting my best. And that's not a sales pitch. If you guys watched me draw live before, you guys will know, you can verify, my regulars that watch me draw can verify, I've gone back and redrawn stuff, because, a little bit of OCD, but some of it is, I want to be proud of my work, something that, and a little part of it was this is kind of weird to say. And it's kind of, it could be melodramatic, could be, more of like I don't know, a bit of a sad topic. But during Dragonrage, when I was working on it, my heart failure had worsened to the point where I almost died. I mean, and that's not an exaggeration. I mean, I was looking at possibly my life being over, and I thought to myself, when I got better, I got better, and I sat back and I looked at my book as I was well enough to start working on it again. I was picking up, to work on it again. I asked myself, You know, if I had died, this is really the art that I want to leave behind. You know what I mean? Like, is this going to be the last page I draw, the last book I draw? You know, um, I'm like, no, man, I need to leave something behind that is just phenomenal, something that's just amazing. So that was why I really went back and I redrew a lot of it. I said, I want to be remembered as the guy who just was a fantastic artist and could tell stories and has, really interesting characters. Dragonrage doesn't have, there's nothing else out there like Dragonrage. If you guys, I know there's kind of a black shape going up right there. This is, it'll all blend in. This is going to be black. This is going to be, black with stars. But there's nothing out there like Dragonrage. I'm really trying my best to make Dragonrage something different than anything else out there, and that's not just with the artwork. It's also with the type of characters, storytelling, or if we do get the book to color, the way the book's colored. Everything's important to me in the design of this book, in the look of it. And one big achievement that we were able to pull off, me, you, the backers, is in having this book in black and white. A book in black and white is really not something every artist can do. Not every artist can have their book in black and white. I heard guys when I said my book's gonna go black and white, they go, not something I would do. Well, it's not something you can do. It's not something every artist can do, because your work has to stand. And I don't mean that as a shot at people. It doesn't sound good, I know, but I just mean that not every artist's work can stand. It needs, some artists' work need help from the color. It's a lot of work if your art is going to stand on its own in black and white. You got to put more into it. And the fact that Dragonrage, the art in Dragonrage, can do that says a lot, about it, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that the book is in black and white, and yet it's doing fantastic. People are loving the artwork. And hey, Chuck Gibson's here, man. Chuck looks great, Jimmy. Chuck is a fellow inker, one of my peers, from Wildstorm. He you guys don't know Chuck Gibson, man. He worked. He was one of the inkers at Wildstorm, and Wildstorm are the guys that taught me. That's who I learned ink from. Were these guys, from the Wildstorm guys. And I've been thinking about maybe inviting Sandra Hope on the channel, and we could talk inks. Maybe maybe I can get Chuck or and a few other inkers, and talk about some traditional inking and stuff like that. Getting you guys on. And Robert Norton's here, man. Appreciate that. Robert Norton does reviews on his channel. He's an artist as well. So he's got, if you guys want to see like really great reviews on comics, Rob Norton, he is the guy that got me to fall in love with comics again. I would go on his channel, and he was showing a lot of comic books from the 90s at the time when I went to go look. And I went, holy cow, the 90s are back, and made me fall in love with comic books all over again, and you know, brought back. And he's the reason why. You owe me, man. You owe me, Robert, a lot of money because of you. You made me order a lot of books and go to the comic store. I had stopped going to comic store. Now I'm there every Wednesday, man. I'm there every Wednesday again, buying comic books again. And I've rekindled that fire, that passion. I hope you guys do too, man. And or with Dragonrage, I hope that you guys get excited with Dragonrage. As you can see, I mean, I put a lot of work into every page and trying to make things as great as I can. Here is a black and white version right here. Here is here's the book, Dragonrage, right? So I kept this one right here because I consider this one damaged, because when I signed it right there, it didn't come out. It didn't come out. It kind of muddied up. You can see the E and the Y. It blended in together. It was too much paint on the pen. So I went, I can't send that to backers. So no, when you guys get the book, you guys are getting, I'm real picky, so you're getting a good book. I package them really well. So here's the cover that Dave Finch drew for me. Dave, Dave's a really good friend, man. I owe this guy so much. Dave's a really good, been a good friend to me. He's a good guy, and he did this cover for me. And so I put it on here. On the back of the book, you can see it talks about what's inside the story. It's kind of like at the back of a DVD. So if you were to look on the back of like a back of a DVD, you would have a synopsis. And that's what's on the back of that. And then Dragonrage, when you open it up, like I think when people at first, when you first think, oh, the book's in black and white, you're thinking of a different book. But when you get it and you can see all of the line work that I've put into it, and there it is, The Crown of Fire, Part 1, and all the great, detailed faces. Look at that. You see that girl's face in there. Right? Super cool face. And then you open up, you see them on the end of a cliff, and then you pull the camera back, and bam, you see them on the edge of a cliff overlooking this chasm, and you see detailed faces. And even in the background back here, there's birds right there, little bitty birds. Look at that, little bitty birds just right there flying around. There's other little things hidden in this book that I don't want to spoil for you guys, but and then look at this detail in here. Right? Where's the camera? Right there. I mean, look at this. Right here on this one, on this other page, that's right over here. There it is. Sorry, this page right here. There's butterflies. There's a horse. There's a fennec fox. There's a snail. There's a bunch of flowers. A lot of really neat stuff that's in this book. And this book really be considered, it's sold out. I mean, I'm only going to have an extra of, like I said, 1 or 2 copies, not really much. But you can see all the detail in there. I mean, look at that face, right there. That face is up to no good. Look at him. He's just like, yeah. And this is the quality that's inside this book in Dragonrage. This is what backers are getting. and it was so hard to sell everybody on that book at the beginning. People just had no idea what Dragonrage was. I was trying to explain it to them, and people were like, what is this? And it was like George Lucas trying to sell Star Wars to different publishing, and distribute different studios. And he just, he couldn't sell people on Star Wars. It was hard. And then once it was out together, people, oh, wow, and that's what happened to Dragonrage. Dragonrage now has a bigger interest. The mailing list is booming. People are signing up for Dragonrage now and going, oh, wow, now that people see it. So for those few backers that I had for that first book, you guys, going to have something very rare. So as Dragonrage continues to grow, you're going to have something that, people are going to want and they don't have. So hopefully it'll grow more in the secondary market for you guys. So let's see. You can see the face back here, my composition. We got Corey popping in, man. Corey's a super talented artist. His brother as well. Clayton Barton as well. Really good artist. Dan Lawless, outstanding art. It comes from the soul. Wow, man. Thank you, Dan. Dan is also an artist whose work I admire because, for one, I found him on Conan. I'm a big Savage Sword of Conan fan. When I film my studio, I'm going to give you guys a tour of my studio. You'll see how crazy I get for Conan. But Dan being one of my favorite artists who got to work on Conan, getting a compliment from Dan, man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So let's see. Comics Legend says, I remember those pages being drawn during the live stream. Isn't it crazy? Like we could look back at my live streams and you could see me drawing them. And then now to see the finished version and have it in your hands, like I think, to me, I think that's just pretty amazing, to when it all comes together, because when you're working on it, you're like, for me, I'm going, man, is this going to work, And when I find out in the end that it, I get to see it and I go, oh my God, people like it. Oh my God, it does work. It did work, because there were some doubts along the way where I'm just like, man, am I any good? All that stuff sits in, So I'm just putting some shapes, but I want to see how much I can put in without getting muddy on that. And Comics Legend says, when do you think fulfillment will be complete for Dragonrage, the black and white, the pen and ink? Right now, I've sent out a total of 150 copies right now. 150 are on their way to the first set of backers. I fulfill every day 30 to 50. And I've got almost 1,000 backers. Got about maybe almost 950. I think I'm at 920 backers. So it shouldn't be too long, really, to be honest. Before, just a week or two to fulfill that. It shouldn't take too long. But it took a long time, man, for the campaign itself to really start picking up steam. The book had, when I closed out at just a little over 20,000, which, to be completely honest, sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It took a year of the book being in demand and going on every live stream I could go on and pushing the book hard to get it to double that in demand, and it took a year. So, you know, I really hope this time around that I can get to, if I can get to that 50K before closeout, then that would mean that I could print these, I could get these books in color. But to be honest, black and white's not bad. I mean, it's kind of an artistic choice, and I think that's kind of an interesting look for Dragonrage too. You know, but obviously, you know, I mean, in color, you know, it's more vibrant and stuff like that. I mean, that, you know, I think my work lends to both color and black and white. So I'm playing with the shapes here, and I just realized I want to put another playing with another shape. And then somebody asked earlier about another cover. If I was having a cover done, I haven't heard. What happened to the idea that Ethan would help with a secondary campaign to pay for coloring? I honestly haven't heard anything, and I know that he's busy, and I don't want to make it somebody else's responsibility or anything. You know, I know he's busy, so I didn't expect that to happen anytime soon, you know. So, but I'm making it work, you know. You know, that was one idea. But even then, if I were to have a cover done, and then I would run that campaign, that would still be 60 days for that campaign. No guarantee that it would still raise the amount of funds that are needed, you know. So with there still being a lot of uncertainties in that, I can't leave my backers with uncertainties, you know. I have to give them, you know, more of a guarantee, you know, what can work. Oh man, I'm looking at the way I drew his arm. I drew his arm hanging over. So, you know, people have their own campaigns to worry about. They've got, you know, all this things to do. And it takes an artist time and a lot of work to produce a cover. So you can't expect it to just happen overnight. And I don't want to leave backers waiting, you know. So I have the black and white books that were sitting here, and I made the decision, you know, I'm gonna see if people want the black and whites. And I asked, and majority rule, you know, majority backers said, yeah, we want our black and whites. I'll take it now. So I went with majority rules, you know, knowing that it might upset a few people, but I can't please everybody. You know, I'd like to if I could, but I can't. So the majority were who I went with. But it's up to you guys. If we can get it, you know, the next campaign, if we can get it with the stretch goal, put a stretch goal in there and say, hey, if we reach this number, we can get a colored version of number one with a new cover. I have a cover from YouTube sensation and really good artist and a good friend of mine too, ZHC. He's huge. So with his audience wanting his cover, it could be a really big campaign. You know, that could be the real big push, you know, that we need. And that could be a new audience, new people coming in, you know. And so I have ZHC cover, and Zach's gonna, help promote his cover. So that could be, I got a wild card, guys. I got a wild card in the deck. You guys didn't know that. Have a little faith there. Maybe it will. And when that happens, Dragonrage could be huge. And when that happens huge, then you've got the pen and ink edition that is going to be the lower print run. Then that could become the book that is sought after. So I mean, things could all work out. I shouldn't panic. We shouldn't panic, and that type of thing. So that one with the ZHC will be the cover to issue number 1 is what my plan is. And because I already have that cover done, I can go with that. And if that book makes it with the stretch goal, which I have a feeling it will, I think it's going to do really well. Zach's a really popular artist. I can print that one in color, and it'll be a new cover, and that way people can have both. You can have it in black and white, pen and ink, a very what people may not understand what pen and ink means. It's like a artist edition. It's like an artisan edition. It's something different. It's a unique type of book that's pretty rare. And you guys can have that, and then just get the standard color edition and have both, which will be, a pretty rare variant, which having that book and having it, because it's black and white, but it's a pen and ink edition. So it's not just like, oh, it's just a black and white book. It's actually intended to be that way as an artist edition, where it shows the artwork, and you'll actually have something there, not just like, oh no, it's in black and white, meaning that it's less value or anything. It's not. It's actually it was actually I think very clever to a good solution. I think people look at it the wrong way, the wrong perspective, where I was in a situation, and how do I fix this? How do I fix this for majority of my backers? And I think the decision that I made and what I went with really, was for the best benefit of backers, and it turned out to be a good decision. I think right now people were just weren't certain, but I was able to, like I said, give more story. I was able to increase the page count, and I think at first people didn't know what to think, because there were people trying to cancel me. I had people out there that were trying to gaslight and cancel, and it's the internet, and some people just, it's just being the internet. And I think in the end, it's all going to work out. I think, because I think what happened was, people in the end, backers got to see that I do care about my backers, and how important they are to me. And I was willing to look into other solutions as well, but really, to be honest, the best solution was already there. We had already made that decision, and it turned out that was the right thing to do. So the books are coming. People are real happy. You guys are going to like the way they're packaged. When you get yours, you'll see what I mean, the way that I packaged it. Everybody's getting a free gift. Every backer got you guys got the bookmark with art by David Finch. So you guys are all getting that, a free gift. So You see, I might put black right here as I'm going. So as I draw, the drawing starts to evolve. It starts to talk to me. It sounds weird, but it does. It starts to come to life, I guess I should just say. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the campaign. I probably won't even talk about the campaign stuff anymore because, really, be honest, it's an older topic now, and I think I think the initial shock was, that was the initial reaction. And I think now everybody's okay, with it, and I think people are starting to see. Um, it ended up being good, and we made lemonade, and me and my backers are enjoying lemonade. We're all enjoying the lemonade together. So putting that dragon there, and I think his wing kind of going off. I need to put another level right here of rock. So the question is, will you be enjoying lemonade with me? Let's drink lemonade together. Arnold Palmer's, when I see you guys at the convention somewhere, let's have some lemonade, We made it work. We made it. It's Dragonrage is a really good IP. It's new, it's fresh. It's really different. And it's going to have some really fantastic artwork, man. All right, I need this to blend into her mouth. Let's see if I zoom out and I see. Okay, her lip. I want her lip a little bigger. Yeah, a lot of times for me, I've been very fortunate. Dragonrage has attracted a lot of really fantastic artists. And a lot of times I'm really surprised. A lot of my friends, they just send me a cover. They go, "Hey man, I really like, like your book, Dragonrage. I drew a cover." And I just get them, and been very, very fortunate to have so many great artists contributing covers. And so you never know. You never know what new covers I may have. All right, so this is so far what I've got right now. Let me know what you guys think. And if you have any ideas of something that I'm not seeing there, let me know. I mean, I'm always up for, suggestions. Peter Watts, I haven't had an Arnold Palmer in a while. I forget, is Arnold Palmer, is that tea and lemonade? Right? That's an Arnold Palmer? Or is that, or is an Arnold, no, okay, yeah. An Arnold Palmer is tea and lemonade, right? Because the other one is Long Island tea. And that's the one that contains alcohol, right? I'm not a drinker. I have an occasional glass of wine, but I, being a guy who's on blood thinners, I start drinking, I bleed to death, All right, so I want to do something under his hand here. I'm going to just kind of shade underneath there. And break the line a lot. I forgot who drew Havoc like that. Was it Jim Lee that drew Havoc on the cover of an X-Men? Peter Watt says, "You are pretty awesome, Jimmy. People see." Ah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. You know, I like people. I'm a people person. You know, I really don't. I'm not the kind of guy to try to go and destroy somebody's dreams or anything like that. And uh, I'm happy for people a lot of the times when they see success, and even if they're people I don't even didn't get along with, you know, I get along with most people. I enjoy people. I like people. Pretty easygoing guy, but um, you know, I like to think I don't hold grudges, you know, but I'm human. I can get my feelings hurt, but you know, I definitely enjoy people, you know. I like I like to meet people. I like to hear about your life. What I find really fascinating the most is I love to hear when you guys talk about your journey, how you found comics, you know, because for me, um, I was uh, I was I didn't know comics as a kid. I didn't know they existed, and I go, wow, I'm just wowed by when the people who talk about, oh my God, my dad gave me his comic collection. I remember going to the comic store with my dad, or and to me, I go, wow, you know, I think that's amazing because um, I didn't have that childhood. I was robbed of a childhood, really, many different things, but one of it was I had cancer as a child, so I spent most of my time in and out of hospitals. So I missed a lot, and I like to hear the stories where people talk about growing up and reading comic books. I find that so fascinating that that people got to experience that. I think that's great. You know, or people are talking about, yeah, when I was a kid, you know, I used to go to the pharmacy and pick up this book or that book, and I was like, when I was a kid, I used to just go to the pharmacy. I didn't see any comics, no. Um, and so I find it fascinating how people and what books you're into or what led you to art. You know, to me, it's amazing to hear. You know, everybody has a story. We all have a story to tell, and I find them all fascinating. You know, how people came to uh, art and what made you want to draw comics specifically, because art itself, you could go anywhere with art, you know, but what made you want to draw superheroes, you know? That's the stories I like. I like to hear that from people. So if you guys we ever meet at a convention, you know, you know that I don't mind hearing those stories, you know. I really enjoy that. You know, I just think people are great, you know. Let's see. And I've been watching as I draw. I don't know about you guys. Like when you draw, do you guys do this? I put on TV shows, and I broke out my old DVD of GI Joe. So I bought this one when they re-released the special edition. So they released it, this version, in widescreen. When I saw that they had the widescreen version of GI Joe, and I love GI Joe. Those were the only toys I ever owned was GI Joe. Um, you know, growing up, as I mentioned before, I was very, very poor. But when the time when GI Joe came out, um, my family at that time were doing fairly okay. You know, we we had some bread on the table, and I was able to get GI Joe toys. So GI Joe has always had a special place for me. So I love the movie, and I watch it. I watch it a lot. You know, I wanted to come out in 4K because now I collect 4K. I'm gonna break the line right here because this is the ray of light shining. So there can't be a. You got to break the line here. Maybe not even draw it in all the way and just leave a lot of. Gets washed out by the highlight. You know. I was I never owned any Thundercats toys. I owned very few Transformers, but I loved Transformers. And G.I. Joe holds a special place in my heart, you know. And then when I got older and was able to buy my own toys, things that I liked, I was got into Conan and started collecting a lot of the Conan books, a lot of novels and stuff. Robert E. Howard is huge in Texas, so I'm Texan, and I don't want Robert E. Howard to be the only Texan known for fantasy characters. So that's why I'm creating my own. Yeah. If anybody's ever bored, Hasbro has a YouTube channel where they stream old G.I. Joe 24/7. Yeah, I watched that. I watched the G.I. Joe episodes on their YouTube channels, and it's every day. And it'll say live, you know, like they're streaming. And yeah, they I play that. I'm on there every day, basically. And let me see. I need this fold right here. So the light source, you can see his hand, and the light source directly coming from his hand, right? So above, so around the hand, I just kind of I shade it, kind of draw it in where it could be like a skeleton. You just kind of shade where the skeleton bones would be, and then I need a really strong light source right over here. Let me figure out where. Yeah, so my dream, if I could have a fantasy, right? I would of course love to be on a Conan book, and I would love to be on a G.I. Joe. Like those would be the two things. If I could scratch off my bucket list, would be those G.I. Joe and Conan. You know. So you got to think of the fabric and how the fabric folds. I've also got his cape right here going like this. You know, that's his cape right there because of the magic and just, you know. So I'm thinking to create the effect even more. Maybe I should put, you know, some smoke, right? Maybe we maybe to complete the effect, is to just kind of maybe I should put some smoke like that, and that way the cape makes sense, and I kind of keep this like loop. I keep this loop going right here. I keep drawing on the artwork. Last time I drew on the artwork, I drew too much over it like that I couldn't undo it. I didn't learn my lesson. Obviously, I'm still doing that. Rachel Brinkley says, I would love to do a Victor Von Doom. Oh yeah, Victor Von Doom too. I've never really been a fan of any Fantastic Four. I didn't grow up with comic books, like most did. But I usually gravitate towards the anti-hero. And I think the reason I gravitated more towards Victor Von Doom is he's like Darth Vader. I'm a big George Lucas fan. And when I say George Lucas, I don't just mean Star Wars. I mean George Lucas fan. I want to grow my beard like him. I like American Graffiti, THX. I like collecting the George Lucas. I even watch Red Tails. I even watched the Epic because it was George Lucas. Do you guys remember Epic? You guys know that George Lucas film? Look it up. Look up if you don't know and you haven't heard of Epic. Yeah, George Lucas adopted some children when they're grown now, but he adopted, and he wanted to start doing more kid-friendly content and stuff. And he created Epic. Yeah. So I even watched that because I like George Lucas' stuff. And the thing about George Lucas, he said a couple of things that have been really great. I love the fact that like George Lucas was trying to really push the envelope. He was trying to bring and design and do new things, and he brought us THX, right? Which is now, what is it? Lucas Audio or something now or something. The sound, he brought us the sound to, because of him, Industrial Light and Magic. We got better special effects in movies. People started to take that much more seriously, studios, because of George Lucas. What else do we have? We had digital. He brought digital filming. And because of him now, you could see colors you couldn't see in film before, where digital, when they were filming, and the type of colors you could get purple hues and stuff on screen now, where you couldn't have that before. George Lucas is behind that. And he's described how to create fascinating, interesting worlds. And he broke it down into a formula for us. He said, you take known cultures, right? And you conflate these different cultures, you combine them to mix to make a new culture. And that's how you make things seem like, they're slightly familiar, but yet feels like a new world, and it's like where they have their belief systems, they have their fashion, stuff like that. You just put stuff together. I mean, he mixed a lot of European design with a lot of Eastern design, in Star Wars specifically. And a lot of the designs, some of them even look like they're German World War II uniform designs, kind of mixed in with samurai designs. He did a lot of that, and so I do that. My characters, when people ask me, why do they have these haircuts? Like, why does this female have half the side of her head shaved? It's because I looked at Vikings, and I mixed it with Vikings, and so I gave my characters all kind of this shaved heads with these ponytails and these beards. All the males have them like that, and they all have these ponytails. I looked at Vikings. I look at a lot of Celtic, designs where they have these kind of those what are those skirts that the Scottish men wear? Kilts. So they have like a lot of kilts. And then I look, samurais, and so with the samurai, I added in the extra little belt thing that kind of hangs in between and stuff like that. So if you're creating a book and you're not sure where to get inspiration and ideas, the road's been laid out for us. There's so many storytellers out there that they already have the blueprint and the formula. It's already there. Just look at your favorite creator and see what they did. And you just kind of follow that layout, and follow successful people and their formulas can often get you started, and then of course you find what works for you. You see, I'm figuring out this face here because this character is black, so I need to change up his features just a little bit in the shade, in the shading. Richard Briggs is not THX 1138. Yeah, his student film. Yeah, that one I know was a bit. It's acquired taste, It's not for everybody. Without George Lucas, we would have never have been able to drink a Pepsi with Jar Jar Binks decorating the can. Oh yeah, Jar Jar Binks, man. That's something George probably wants to would like to go back and undo if he could. He probably, but he had children at the time. They were, like I said, he adopted kids, and he was really trying to more kid-friendly content. Plus, I think the idea was the prequels were really what you do is you think of Disney, right? Mickey Mouse, Walt Disney. And when I say Disney, I mean Walt Disney, not Disney, the company that we know today. But Walt Disney created Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie, right? And we came to know this character as Mickey Mouse, and it's an iconic character. And how do you keep your character relevant, and how do you keep it, basically that became his cash cow, right? So how do you keep your cash cow, producing, what is the word, like perpetual, and you have to keep it relevant. So you have to keep reinventing and updating. So Mickey Mouse has gone through many different updates and changes in his look throughout the years. And so George Lucas knew that his Star Wars fans from 1977 to the year, what was it, 1999 or something like that, or I forget when the prequels came out. He knew that his fans that had originally went to see the film in 1977 would now be taking their children to see the film that they saw when they were younger. So you have to make something in Star Wars, in this book, relevant to that new generation. And he created Jar Jar Binks for them. And he created that with them in mind, not for us. We were adults or older. But we were so vocal and gave him such a backlash that Jar Jar Binks took a back seat in Attack of the Clones in the follow-up film. But that's my theory. I think that's why he created Jar Jar Binks, really, was he was really trying to appeal to the younger audience and to pick up a newer, younger generation that could keep going. And if I'm fortunate enough, I'll have that problem. If I'm lucky enough to someday, 30 years down the line, still have fans of Dragonrage. If we're lucky enough, right? Like you guys too are creators. A lot of you guys are. Then we'll be trying to figure out, how do we keep our creation relevant? I mean, look at X-Men, how much they've changed over, the time they've been around. It almost looks like this character has a mustache because I shaded it in so dark. He doesn't have a mustache. That's his upper lip with some shadow. There we go. I think because I brought it out a little too far. He just has a really larger upper lip, He has full lips. But I was not a fan of Jar Jar Binks. I honestly did not like the prequels because they didn't feel Star Wars. To me, Star Wars was about Jedis, And now, I think what they're trying to do now, I think what Disney is trying to do, they call it the Skywalker saga, is they're trying to let people know that, that was just the Skywalker story. But I don't know. I think to me, Star Wars has always been about the Jedi. I didn't watch Andor. I didn't really care too much about any of the other people on those planets. I just cared about the Jedi and the Sith, the battle between those two, all lightsaber battles. I watched The Acolyte, and many people, a lot of people did watch it, all the way through. I think we all hate watched. I don't know. But I watched it, and what I liked about, because I always try to look at, I watch everything, and I try to figure out, well, why does this work and why does this not work? Because as a creator myself, I want to improve my storytelling. So I try to watch as many things as I can. And then I just kind of listen to what people are saying about it and go, well, I wonder what it was. I like the reviews when they actually give the reason why they didn't like something, rather than just saying they don't like it or just trying to make fun of it. because then it kind of helps me, figure out, well, what did they not like about it? What I did like about it, is the lightsaber, the choreography. I did like the choreography. I know a lot of people are gonna, not a lot, but I know there are gonna be people going, "Oh my God, why did you even watch that?" But there's Jedis in it, there's lightsaber battles. I'm like, yeah, I'm watching. I'm watching it. You got me at lightsaber battles. And the choreography was pretty darn good, man. Some of the best choreography I had seen since Ray Park. Ray Park, who, by the way, is in the Deadpool movie. I don't want to spoil it, but if you haven't seen it, go check it out. You'll see Ray Park in there. I won't say where. I don't want to spoil it. Maybe he pops up as Darth Maul. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? But yeah, the choreography was cool. I will give them that. For me, what I did not like about it was it felt more like Dune and Star Trek at times. It didn't feel like my Star Wars. Let me zoom out, man. I'm struggling on this face a little bit. I think I'm getting a little fatigued here. My doctors want me to get up and stretch my legs often. I'm trying to think of, let me see. Maybe it needs more shadow there. Yeah, I need to figure out his nose. Being able to draw characters of different races, ethnicities, it's a challenge. Jim Lee is Korean, and he had a hard time drawing Korean characters. Jubilee supposed to be Korean. I know he didn't create her, but she had been around for long before that. But I think she's supposed to be a Korean character. And when Jim Lee drew her, I never saw that. I never saw her as a Korean character. I gotta get this nose. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have to reference a black male looking like upward, and I want to get the features right, because I want to be respectable when I draw characters, I probably should have made him Latino. I think that's what people would expect more, is like, hey, don't you want Latin characters in your book? You're Hispanic, you're Hispanic, But I'm, putting in characters in my book. When I pick the races, I try to figure out what would fit best for the personality, like when I create the character. I'm not just trying to put in a character just, make my family happy and just go, look, guys, I'm Latino and I put in a Latino character. I want to find one that fits the personality of the character. So I'm gonna leave it at there. Zoom out a little bit. I think his head's small too, right? Yeah. God dog it. I forgot I enlarged his head last time. That's why we got to zoom out when we're digital. I think so. I think it was small. Let me see if I made it. I want to make sure I don't make it too big, but yeah, I'm gonna have to rework his nose and stuff. I might even try to tilt his head further back. But yeah, so this can be all from our drawing session. I'm gonna say hi to you guys, and then I'm going to. I gotta stretch my legs. Yang Yen Zhao says, "Have you seen the Star Wars Holiday Special?" Yeah, with we actually get to see the wife of Chewbacca. Chewbacca is his wife. I almost said Kanaka, but that's on the Acolyte. Chewbacca has a wife. I used to, man, what was the name? I forget. But yeah, the holiday special, I remember that one. I saw the Ewok movie. I watched everything I had to do with, originally it was Star Wars, but then I got into, just everything George Lucas was doing. So I started watching all the George Lucas stuff. Iggy Sphere says, have a good night, Jimmy. Thank you, man. You too. I appreciate that. MD Dangerous says Mala. Oh yeah, Mala. Mala was I remember he had a wife and everything as a kid. And I thought, oh, that was so neat, man. As a kid, with his cover fire. What do you say? Peter Watt says, I like Han Solo running to the Falcon, the Millennium Falcon in the first movie, blasting away, not hitting any stormtroopers, but causing small explosions in Docking Bay 94 and making stormtroopers fall over with his cover fire. There was a lot of like just shooting, the little projectiles are just like sparking off the bay doors or off the walls and all that stuff. It's kind of chaotic fire and stuff like that. It was pretty neat. I like that George Lucas did actually reference dogfights when he had the X-Wings and the TIE fighters battling, over the Death Star. He actually referenced dogfights from World War I and World War II and World War II dogfights, and it made it more realistic, especially the way the X-Wings would, kind of do their rotations and dives and stuff like that. And that type of attention to detail and still keeping some things based in reality makes things much more believable, and it's easier for the viewer to suspend their disbelief, because we're like, we can't fly in space. But if they move like, fighter jets that we had and we have here in reality, then it's more believable. So when I'm working on things like dragons, in the movie Reign of Fire, they based the dragons in there. They made them move more like reptiles, more like a snake. They were a little serpent-like, and then they made them with their wings. They based it off of a mammal a winged mammal we have today are bats. So the bats actually are tetrapods, and a tetrapod has 2 arms, 2 legs, but you have the extended membrane from, their wings are basically connected to their front limbs, which would make sense because that's, you can flap them, move them like a bat. And so I think a wyvern dragon is more believable than dragons that would have 6 limbs, because would be an oddity. It doesn't exist in nature today. There's nothing in nature with 4 legs, 2 front legs and 2 back legs, and then an extra set of, wings or whatever on their back, or another set of like legs. We don't have that in nature. Even spiders, have 8 legs, but I think the wyvern is believable. So I think whenever you base something on reality like that, it really helps. And so I keep that stuff in mind when I'm creating stuff, like how to make this stuff look dynamic, and how do you make stuff dynamic and larger than life, and how do you exaggerate things but still anchor it to something in reality, something that's still anchored, and how do you do that, and I always try to keep that stuff in mind whenever I'm creating stuff in there. And when I look at this drawing, it kind of feels like, doesn't it feel like it would be a Star Wars poster, movie poster, or like Willow or something? It's funny how much of an influence George Lucas, creations have been on me. I mean, they were my escape. When I was a child, I grew up like I said, very poor, and I had cancer as a child, and unfortunately, my parents struggled with alcohol, and it was very, very rough childhood. A lot of obstacles for me right off the bat. Born with cancer and dealing with parents who were struggling with alcohol. They're good people. They love me. I love them. They no longer drink, but they were struggling then, and then we were facing poverty most of the time. But George Lucas created this escape and out, this just fascinating worlds that I want to someday. I want to be able to offer that, because I don't know what people are going through that are buying my book and reading. I don't know what their life is like. And so if I could help in any way by offering some type of escape, that would be amazing to think, if somebody said to me, hey, I was going through this in my life, but reading your book, I was able to just, for at least that 15 minutes of reading the book, just to forget about all the other things and to just dive into this world of Dragonrage. And Dragonrage seems so believable, it seemed like it could be real, those kind of things. That's my goal. And if you're a creator, wouldn't you want that? My biggest compliment is if I ever get two nerds, the biggest compliment is to have some nerds argue about whether or not something can or cannot happen in the world that you created in your book. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, Red Hawk versus Green Hulk. I said Hulk. Who would win? And they argue, about it. That kind of thing or something, I don't know. Could Wolverine, really take on and actually defeat Deadpool? That was the big, that could be the nerd thing. And if anybody ever does for Dragonrage, oh man, that's gonna be a big compliment. People going, wow, can Thrago, could Thrago beat, Wolverine? Got this kid, my character, the name Thrago, and I actually got this name Thrago from my father. It's actually the European Spanish. That's what we are. We're European Spanish. Well, mixed. I'm mixed. But European Spanish, Thrago is bring, right? So I put that in there. I thought that would be a cool name for a character, is to take a word from Spanish and to name the character Thrago, right? And pronounce it a little, Americanize the pronunciation, right? Thrago. And my sister, had said, so a glaze that like a polish like glaze is celadon. Celadon is the name of a glaze, right? When you're doing like porcelain and stuff like that. And I heard celadon. I went, oh my God, that I'm gonna use that as the name of my character. And so that's the name of this character right here that has the face. Her name is Celadon. So when you're creating a world and you want to make them have names that people have never heard of, but they just sound really cool, you can get them from anywhere. Just think about it, just having an ordinary conversation with my sister about something that I didn't even have any interest in. I was zoning out when she was talking about this stuff. And then, what was that word? And she said, Celadon? Celadon. I was like, that is going to be the name of my character. So don't live life too fast, guys. Try to be present in life. And you never know. Your ideas that you're looking for creating your book could be just right there in front of you. Bam. And you could be the next Robert Kirkman with The Walking Dead, the next George Lucas with Star Wars, the J.K. Rowling's with Harry Potter. You never know, all from just a simple conversation you're having with somebody there in your house about, a glaze that you put on porcelain, and there was the name of a character. Bam, right there. Or my dad asked me to bring him the remote, and I go, oh my God, I can use that word and name my character. There he is, Thrago. He's the bringer of fire. That's Thrago right there. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. You guys all have a good evening. I'll see you guys soon. And you guys take it easy. Jason there giving me the peeking in. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. I'll see you guys soon.